Many thanks for staying with us. Earlier on, we told you about Nigeria gearing up for the celebration of its 63rd independence anniversary. But then there have been national challenges that has to do with ethnic, religious, and other kind of regional kind of challenge that has been a plague and of course been a challenge to the growth and the unity of the country. And the question has always been if it's as a result of what the founding fathers had fought for, or as in terms of the foundation they had laid down, or maybe it's just something that we are faced with now and we all have to deal with. And now to talk to us more about this, I'm being joined by Bamidele Omesehin, who is a public affairs analyst. Bamidele, it's nice to have you join us on the news.
It's a pleasure to have you. Thank you for having me.
Now, Nigeria is said to be the most populous black nation in the world, and the big brother in Africa, as we know it, will be attaining 63 years. And of course, celebrations are in top gear, although the government has come out to say that it is going to be low key. How do you feel as a Nigerian that the country will be celebrating its 63rd independence?
First and foremost, thank you, viewers, and it's a pleasure you're having me here. And first and foremost, I'm a proud Nigerian, very patriotic, and that's very important in our daily life. We have to love our country first. We have to be patriotic, and I am very proud to be a Nigerian, and I'm proud of the role we're playing in Africa. There are room for expansion, and we can always improve from where we are or where our forefathers left us, So I'm proud to be a Nigerian. We thank God for the new dispensation. We thank God for the new era. We've moved from the dark age to there have been challenges all along, but we thank God where we are, and there are room for expansions.
Now, Bamidele, Nigeria is said to be heterogeneous and a pluralistic country in nature. There are some who say that the founding fathers that fought for Nigeria's democracy were more interested in their ethnic and regional blocs. Do you think that is true, or you believe that what happened way back then is a huge departure from what obtains now?
Yes, absolutely. Then it was all about interest. And let me tell you first clearly, life is about interest, but we must always find the meeting point. The problem we have today must not be linked to our forefathers. Even though if our forefathers, somebody planted tree yesterday, that's why we have a shade today. Whatever our forefathers did then, they did to the best of their ability. We are to improve on what they did. My father always said to me that he wants me to be better than, to improve on wherever, on whatever the legacy he left. You understand? And we have the room to improve on what our forefathers left. So blaming our forefathers is inexcusable. It's not acceptable to me. We have rooms to improve on whatever they left us with. Today, you have a situation where you have a president from the north, the east is engaged it. You have a situation where you have a president from the south, the east is engaged it. You have a president from the south, the north is engaged it. We must come together. If we can't come together, there is no point we existing as a country. Even though people are not admitting it, tribalism, ethnicity, and division is embedded in our daily life, and it's a problem. The problem we have in Nigeria is not absence of policies, it's not absence of ideas, it's the implementation and inability to work together as one. Even then, our forefathers were able to work together. Nnamdi Azikiwe, Awolowo, and a host of others, Bamidele, they were at a point in time, they were able to form an alliance. If they didn't form an alliance, we wouldn't even have independence. At a point in time, some regions said not until when practicable. At a point in time, some regions were ready. At a point in time, some regions, but at the end of the day, they were able to come together. But today, what do you see? You have a situation whereby anything that is raised by the northerners is wrong by the easterners. Anything that is raised by the easterners is wrong by the southerners. You can't have a progressive nation with this kind of division. We are too divided. And the problem is not what our forefathers left behind is the problem we created and we are creating ourselves.
So
because
now that
if you look at United States for America, they had their own problem. They solved their own problem based on what is applicable, what is present, what is available. Look at Europe, for example. Look at the population of Nigeria. We have a lot of, intellectuals, great men, great ideas, great philosophers, so many people, worthy people. But for us to unite as one and form a common front is a problem. This unity is something we can deal with. If we
so
can deal with that, we'll be better.
Bamidele, having said this now that we've been able to establish that there's this huge lacuna in our social, political, and ethnic space, how do we now deal with issues of unemployment, inflation, corruption, infrastructural deficit, poverty, insecurity, and all these challenges that has plagued the nation? Because the question would always the question would always be based on, despite our divisiveness and our division, how do we break away from these economic challenges and entanglements to see how we can foster and grow our nation and make it more united? How do we do that?
First and foremost, let me chip in this. The problem we have is not, we can't be treating the effect and not the cause. If you go down to treat the cause, we'll be able to have a way forward. When you have political class and leaders that are not united, if for example, if your parents are not leading you aright, the whole followers will be led astray. If we are able to form a common front and have policies that work, have laws that are laws in the real sense of it, that are effective, have a system, a functional system. You understand? So that's why I said it is not absence of law, it's not absence of policies, it's because the policies and the laws are not working. You understand? You're talking about crime and what have you. Criminalities and crimes and economic hardship is all about, it's a global thing, it's a global phenomenon. You understand?
Okay.
Look at our neighbors, it's the same thing all over the world. But we must deal with our problem first.
Okay.
We must have good leaders in place who will be able to have policies, formulate policies that works, and they believe in Nigeria. Most of Nigerians do not even believe in Nigeria.
All right, Bamidele, thank you so much for talking to us. Really appreciate your summation.
Thank you.